What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is awesome. Our broadcast comes to you live from New York, New York. Hold on. Okay. Coming to you live from New York, New York, Manhattan, also known as Mamdanistan. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one. Because today's a beautiful day, today's a wonderful day, today's a fantastic day. Oh, what the hell? I feel like I did that on purpose. I feel like I did that myself. God damn it. Come on, man. Just hold. 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 Motherfucker. This is crazy. This shit ain't holding. Anyway, we're live. We're alive. I hope everyone's having a fantastic one. Hopefully it doesn't fall again, the camera. The mainstream media has written about you 10 times more in the past 16 hours. Wait, really? Oh, God. They just don't stop, do they? Anyway, we're live. We're alive, ladies and gentlemen. Shoe on Head made a video about you. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about fucking Shoe on Head. Fuck Shoe on Head. Meme for blasting off for the enjoyers of breakfast Sammys. I'm an enjoyer of breakfast Sammy. Most stable desk. The desk is stable. It's just that the camera is too heavy sometimes for the... Whoa, what the fuck? What the hell is this? This website is getting crazy. Beautiful shirt, King. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and MBs, you already know it's the number one radical. It's the number one terrorist in the United States of America. Marxist, Leninist, vanguardist, revolutionary, communist, Islamist, fundamentalist, anti-imperialist, all of the above. All it took was to be an avowed anti-Zionist, and years of advocacy work kind of fall apart, fall by the wayside, doesn't matter, which is actually somewhat related to what I was going to talk about. I just went on. Fox News has been nonstop talking about you. It's actually insane to watch. Really? Nice. Where was I? What was I going to say? Looking very proportional. I think we're at the peak of contradictions here. I think eventually something's got to give. Someone is, hopefully, the most productive thing that could take place here is people just understand that the space that I occupy is one where there's going to be shit that's just like taken out of context, and they stop being so insane. Or eventually they get me killed. I don't know. One or the other. But anyway, this is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of Hassan Abi Piker in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming button. I didn't even realize that they were talking about me like crazy. But I guess they are. I'm live. I'm alive. Love your fit. Related note, when you start showing me the steak knives for sale, really funny, okay? Listen, I'm trying to be professional, okay? I'm trying to be professional, and you guys are talking big shit. Bro goes to the East Coast and starts wearing ties and shit. Yeah, it's because I have a bunch of events that I need to go to. I can't even tell you about it, okay? But, there's a bunch of stuff that I'm doing out here, some of which is a secret, so I can't tell you. But that's why I'm all prepped up and all dressed up, okay? Oh, my God. Anyway, I'm live. I'm alive. Personal news-wise, I'm a chud-ass loser. Ended the broadcast last night and literally went and got some creatine, slammed a Mucinex PM with the creatine, and you know, did the damn thing, right? Spank the monkey, beat the meat, jork in the peanuts, that sort of good stuff. And then I tried to sleep and I couldn't at first, so I started watching Casino for the first time ever. Haven't seen it. I know it's like Felix's favorite movie. It's the Chopper Boy's favorite movie. I get why. What? Burping the worm. My man. What are you guys? What? But yeah, Casino's a great movie. Definitely understand why it's like a all-time great, all-time classic. And yeah, just because I'm wearing a freaking button-up and a jacket and a shirt and a tie, like suit, doesn't mean I'm not me. You know, when I'm fucked up, that's the real me. I'm still me. Commentary's still the same. Anyway, I'm trying to be more professional. Basically, after that process, I passed out, woke up early, tried to work out a little bit this morning. I did get a good night's sleep because remember yesterday I had like 3 hours of sleep. Abba and Preach came at you and Tim Pool.
If a man wants to possess,
wanting to be a dad is weird. Dude, what are they doing? Why are these guys still doing this shit? I don't think wanting to be a dad is weird. Oh my God. Do you guys not have any other fucking content? Jesus Christ, get off my dick, bro. Holy shit. How many more years of this like reluctantly attacking Hassan and then agreeing with his fucking primary focus reluctantly 2 years after the fact are we going to do over and over again? No, they're not. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I don't think it's weird to want to be a dad, man. I'm talking shit about gamers, okay? Capital G gamers who are like weirdo fucking white supremacist incels who are like, yeah, this game is going to repopulate the planet.
We're going to get put. So why are you worried about, whether or not women's biological clock is ticking? You got posted in a lot of gamer subreddits. Ooh, nice. You're a pragmatic, pissed off incels. You offended the pedos and the capital G gamers and the incels. Yeah, what they're offended by, I think, primarily is...
I love how first it started with gamers and now it's just incels and...
Yeah, dude, you got me. I was actually fucking attacking every gamer on the planet. Like, man, this is low budget bullshit. I don't even want to fucking entertain it, okay? Again, I can't explain this to you guys enough. I got fucking government ops, okay? I got the entire... propaganda apparatus of the nation state of Israel inside of my fucking asshole. I got like 55 different articles being written about me on a daily fucking basis on Fox News. I'm sorry. I'm not going to have to, I don't want to have a back and forth with Abba and fucking Preach, okay, over what they misunderstood about my take, where it's like, oh, I guess he's backtracking to incels now. You know? Yeah, I am, dude. You fucking caught me. I got so embarrassed that I was shitting on every gamer, every man, actually. Every man that wants to be a father, I was shitting on them, and you caught me because you're fucking brilliant. God forbid you misunderstood the original take that I was making. God forbid. That's never a perspective with any of these guys, okay? No one on the internet ever does this thing where they're like, hold on, let me see what he means. No, I've already been established as a fucking villain for a lot of these dudes, okay? For a lot of these dudes, and it does so well on the algorithm that they just go, yeah, I'm a professional misunderstander of the point that he's making. God forbid you fucking agree with me, you know? You only agree with me maybe 2 years after the fact, you know? It's so funny. Dude, you probably agree with my take. It's like 90% of the time, if you actually listen to what I have to say, you probably agree with it, okay? Unless you're like some fucking weirdo, which, Abba and Preach are like centrist on the weirdo spectrum. They're not as like reactionary or whatever. You probably fucking agree with my take. Yes, sweaty weirdo losers who talk about repopulating and saving the white race or whatever, that think that like a video game like Pragmata is somehow going to improve the birth rates. Well, it's probably, even if it does improve the birth rates, it's probably not going to be for the guys who talk about the birth rates. People who are predisposed with the fucking birth rates are not fucking, okay? That's the point. And it's an agreeable position that I suspect Abba and Preach would probably agree with as well. So why the fuck are you doing this idiotic song and dance where you know what my actual perspective is, and then you hear me elaborate on my actual perspective, and then you go, oh, you got called out, so now it's incels. Stop. Don't do this fucking bullshit. Jesus Christ. Be real, man. Be serious. Please, please be honest. Like, what are we doing? I hate the fucking dishonesty, man. I hate it. Like, oh, you clarified your position? That's because you got backlash and you're backtracking. No, dude, you think I fucking give a shit about a bunch of neo-Nazi, right-wing, insane grifters that even other fucking right-wing grifters now assume are grifters? Oh no, they're talking shit about me. It's a fucking Monday. It's a fucking Tuesday. It's every day of the fucking week. You think I give a shit about what they say? I hate that, like, for so many people who want to position themselves as like reasonable centrists, they have to literally turn around and be like, even if I probably agree with Hassan on this issue, I'm going to act like I misunderstood his point and act like I'm actually in disagreement with him, so that all the fucking weird right wingers still consider me to be someone who is an apolitical guy, someone who is on the right side. You know, might not agree with them all the time, but at least he sticks it to Hassan. Be fucking brave, man. Be brave. Just say what you truly mean, okay? You don't have to constantly do this fucking tightrope so that like weirdo right-wing losers don't come after you all the fucking time. Anyway, whatever. Shit. Yeah, United Arab Emirates is leaving OPEC, which is a blow to the oil cartel. We'll obviously be talking about that. Anyway, personal news-wise, maybe the reason why I'm a little bit on the a little bit fucking fired up is because I did this USA Today thing, right? And they went to the Yale debate that I went to. They're doing like a documentary, but there's also like a different component where it's like a sit down component where they're talking about extremism, or like it's a juxtaposition. The previous episode was on was on vaccines and you know, etc. with RFK Jr. My episode is about anti-Semitism. So basically, they came to me initially, and I was like confused, and I was like, "Do you guys want me to talk about the rise of anti-Semitism, or do you want me to talk about like, are you confronting me as the anti-Semite here?" And then when I saw the RFK Jr. bit, I was like, "Oh, they're going to confront me about my anti-Semitism. I bet." So I did it. Okay. And it was like, it was fine. I mean, it was like 2 hours of back and forth, just fucking crawling through nails as always. You know how it is. Just on my fucking hands and knees being like, look, man, I've spent my whole life fighting against these forces. Like, we gotta be sincere about our opinions. We have to say the truth, whatever. It's like, well, you call, you know, Israel Nazis. It's like, yeah, because they are, you know, they are. They should just stop being a Nazi if they don't want me to call them, you know, all this stuff. It was just like all optics. And I'll still entertain it every time, but I do think that at a certain point it becomes unproductive because, like, there was literally a point in the conversation where I was so cordial, I was so nice the entire time, but even I gave up on being cordial for a moment, and I was like, look, man, you think I, as a fucking anti-Zionist American Twitch streamer, am actually standing in the way of a peaceable diplomatic negotiation? Who do you think bears the responsibility here, me or the apartheid state that has been continuously settling 750,000 Jews in the West Bank while taking advantage of the so-called peace process, while simultaneously raping, pillaging, killing Palestinians, and destroying their lives and getting full-blown unconditional support from the United States of America? Which out of these two things is actually a significant impediment to the pathway of peace? I was like, enough. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is this conversation? Because he was just like, well, you recognize that anti-Semitism is on the rise, but don't you feel like you're contributing to it? And I was like, no, I'm not. You want to know why I'm not? Because I'm not a fucking anti-Semite, and I tackle anti-Semitism with regular frequency. You should take it up with the ADL if you, you know, if you want to have a real conversation about who's spreading anti-Semitism. But yeah, that was what it was. I bet I know why you're fired up. Did you edge for too long last night? Says fat sloth slim. Yes. Um, you know, we did it. We did it though. It was a good. It's a good conversation. I think it'll be fun. Someone I know was upset about the gamer comment too. I talked them off the clip, but I think that some people are just that genuinely couldn't tell you mean it. All gamers, not just everyone. Dude, I'm sorry, but this is one of those situations where it's like I say, "Oh my god, gamers are such fucking losers," and people actually have a conniption off of that. I mean, you're not gonna make it. Okay, you're not gonna fucking make it. Like, what do you mean? This is literally like all men discourse. Like, oh, men are trash, and then people go, "What do you mean men are trash? I'm gonna become a Nazi now." It's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? If you're not trash, then don't get mad about it. Why? Why are you being so fucking sensitive? I play video games. I don't give a shit. I talk shit about gamers all the goddamn time. I'm a man. I don't give a shit when people say men are trash. I say, yeah, it's true. Who gives a fuck? God, have some fucking backbone, dude. Jesus Christ. I can't stand motherfuckers who are like crying like this all the fucking time when they're like, they came after gamers. Gamers. Be for real. Be for real. Be a man, okay? Be a man. Be a man. Have some fucking backbone. Have some goddamn intellectual honesty. Have some decency, okay? It's totally ridiculous. Constantly crying like, me, they're coming after gamers. Really, dude? You think they're systematically discriminating against you because you're a fucking gamer? That's what you think? Shut up, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, the most oppressed group of all time. What are we doing? What is this baby shit? This is what I hate. People who unironically talk about how the left is constantly babying people will be the first to demand said babying. Okay? They will literally demand it. They'll be like, baby me, please. Why aren't you babying me? Yeah, Nick Fuentes, by the way, once again, going, Nira Tandon's favorite commentary person, Nick Fuentes, American neo-Nazi Nicholas Fuentes, is freaking the fuck out, demanding I get arrested. Ugh. Yeah, he's back. I guess he's back from his excursion in Italy. I saw little clips of him going on a gay adventure with that other white nationalist, the one who came up to me with the Kaya photo in Ireland, the one that covered his face, that pussy. I guess he's back from the little gay venture that he had where they explored each other's bodies in Italy on a beautiful vacation. And now he's back in America in the land of degeneracy. Yeah, Nira Tandon's favorite content creator, Nick Fuentes, he has some choice words about me, it seems. You sound jealous? Come on. Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous that I didn't have a gay little adventure in Italy. You got me. I've been to Italy. I can go to Italy whenever the fuck I want. I mean, one of the questions I was like, with USA Today, I literally was like, bro, why the fuck do you think these guys hate me? Okay? If I'm like secretly fomenting anti-Semitism, why the fuck do you think the Nazis hate me so goddamn much? Have you thought about that? Is this in your fucking mindset at all? They call me a goddamn philo-Semite over there. They say, oh, I'm too afraid to call out the Jews. I'm too afraid to say Jews are responsible. Yeah, because they're not. There's no organized Jewry because I'm not a fucking idiot. I don't believe in the concept of monolithic Jewry or monolithic white people. There is no such thing, okay? It doesn't work that way. Yeah, I guess constantly being a fucking socialist, being a leftist, especially in the United States of America, means you have to eat it from every end, dude. You got to eat it from the fucking reactionary liberals. You got to constantly take it from the right. Everyone on the right opposes you. Everyone on the right despises you. And liberals won't even fucking defend you against that shit. There's no loyalty. No loyalty whatsoever. It's unproductive, and liberals don't even realize it's unproductive. Every goddamn day. It's like being And then on top of that, you get yelled at by other leftists who think you're not leftist enough. It's wonderful. I love it. It's so good. An entire movement designed around being as like annoying as possible. Purity politics, constantly seeking out imperfections amongst allies. Just the most difficult environment to organize in, where everything is positioned against you. You know, you said I should show some intellectual backbone. Then you said I should. Then you also told me to be a man. Now I'm mostly just confused. I'm just talking about people who fucking complain or are like, man, you attack the gamers. You know, just be a fucking adult. Here, is that better? Is that more politically appropriate for me to say? Be a fucking adult. That's what I mean. You know, have some confidence in yourself. Sorry, I'm using gendered language. Too woke to live, too electoral to tanky. Yeah, that's why you gotta fucking look like a chud and think like a woke. Okay, that's why I do this. That's why I'm wearing the suit. Look like a chud, think like a woke. Look like a chud, talk like a woke. Thank you for the playlist, by the way. There are 4 Fox News mentions that just got released on Fox News about your boy. Jesus Christ, dude. These guys have nothing else to talk about. Unfucking believable. New York City, day 2. Defend Jimmy Kimmel. Radical liberal driller. King Charles in the USA. Ballroom blitz. Hormuz still closed. UAE out of OPEC. Fox News still flaming me. Get in now. Anita Sarkeesian attacked gamers for 10 years. Look where we're at now. Yeah, people still chirp about Anita Sarkeesian, bro. People still talk about how she was like a primary vector of hatred, a primary villain in their lives. I'll be honest, dude, if you genuinely still think about Anita Sarkeesian to this degree, like, you're not long for this world. I'm actually genuinely confused how you haven't fucking killed yourself so far. Like, what a pathetic mode of existence. If I lived like that, if one person that I ordained as a villain in my own mind had this much control over my life, this much control, and was a figure worthy of this much animus, I would fucking realize at some point that my life is not worthy of living. It's just so sad. I'm just going to end it all. You know? It's not even a joke. There are still people who unironically bring up Anita fucking Sarkeesian, dude. Like, people who think, you know, titties in video games are tinier now because of Anita Sarkeesian and because of U.S. aid. People who sincerely think like the American government, by way of the CIA, made the boobs smaller in video games to oppress the gamers. If this is the type of person you are, you have to snap out of it immediately. Like, look, I'm not in favor of corporal punishment, but honestly, your parents should have beat the fuck out of you a little bit. If you genuinely have this attitude, if this is how you see the world in your adult age, like, you know, you're slated for an ass whooping by your dad, right? Like, something needs to reorient your priorities. Something needs to just like fix your brain a little bit. It's so ridiculous. I will hate comment on this USA Today article when it comes out. No, it's not. The USA Today article probably won't even be that bad. I'm just like, I just can't believe how... I just cannot fucking believe how much coverage this has created. Anita Sarkeesian was harassed like crazy. It's pathetic how people obsess over her. I say this as someone who was mad on her content, even though she was a swerve. Yeah, I don't know anything about Anita Sarkeesian, and I don't want to know. And I find it very strange that that people have such strong opinions about a woman who was doing cultural critique on video games like 20 years ago, right? It's very frustrating that we have to sit around and act like this is a sincere problem. It's not. There's so many more important things going on in the world. If you want to constantly worry about Anita Sarkeesian, then, you know, go off, I guess. Anyway, there's not even a real audience for that kind of shit anymore. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just some donkey brained losers. Unbearable. People who say like they came after gamers. They came after gamers. Like anyone that says that and they're not joking, they need to go to jail. They need to go through rehabilitation. All right. King Charles is in the United States of America alongside Queen Camilla Cabello. And it's a high stakes visit because the world that we live in is that stupid. Van Jones did a Hassan Piker video. I love that. My Maoist third world is king. Oh, there was also, oh God, the USA Today one was like, we talked about Hamas too. Fox News covering the conspiracy theories about the White House. Oh, dude, yeah, it's awesome that Fox News is complaining about conspiracy theories. Van Jones, his statement outraged many who just now want to write him off. That's a mistake. He has a massive audience and is emerging as one of the major voices of this generation. Those of us who disagree owe him and his audience a real argument. Here's mine. And my position doesn't come from ignorance about oppression. A big chunk of my life, I was a grassroots activist. You literally were a Maoist third worldist who talked about the apartheid. You wrote spoken word poetry. Van Jones in the 80s and 90s was a Maoist third worldist, okay? This is not a joke. I mean it. I'm serious. Like, this is real, okay? Van Jones is a Maoist third worldist who wrote spoken word poetry rap songs about Israel's apartheid of the Palestinians. Now, this was, of course, before he got hit with the Obama ray, okay? When he got into the Obama cabinet, obviously, by that point, he had been a soldier for neoliberalism, or at some point something changed in him, right? Obviously. But what's really funny is they yelled about his background a lot when he was in the Obama cabinet. And since then, I mean, obviously he's made a massive fortune for himself. He got $100 million unconditionally from Jeff Bezos, but I guess it's not so unconditionally. He is one of the most rabid defenders of the state of Israel. I find out about new groups, like new Zionist groups in the country, because Van Jones will attend their events. You know, Zionists being one example. He was at this Zionist party at the DNC. But yeah, 9 minutes he afforded me with his AI videos and all this shit. Fantastic. Again, every single entity, every single group that is either sympathetic to the cause of Israel, every single group that is pro-Israel in any way, shape, or form, or getting paid, has been up my ass for the last 3 months almost. It is incredible. Okay? Now, of course, I still don't believe that there is, like, even with all the overwhelming, unprincipled smear machine that I've been on the receiving end of, I don't think it is successful. I don't think it's successful at all. And I think they're doing it because they're desperate. They're doing it because they have lost the conversation. They've lost the argument. People do not fuck with Israel any longer. Israel's approval keeps plummeting over and over again. So now basically they're doing everything in their power to punish those who played a role in opposition to Israel. But the past 3 weeks have been unbelievable. I have never seen this level of coverage and attention. Fox News has basically been writing hit piece after hit piece every fucking day, multiple times a day. Okay? Wall Street Journal, free expression. Microlooting is a luxury belief. I don't know. It's unbearable. It's really, really annoying. It's annoying that I have to deal with it at all. It doesn't even have the negative impact that these people think it does, but it doesn't stop them from annoying me. Okay, you still not actually addressing the point he's making, which is why Hamas is bad. Is which is while Hamas is bad, Israel's worse. They've also done all the things you list, just more. As long as you refuse to talk about that, you're also having a conversation. You're spouting rehearsed talking points.
Piker.
Yeah, I assume this is just like, here's why Hamas is bad, okay? Which is what everybody wants to talk about. The entire point between like Israel is 1,000 times worse than Hamas is that Hamas's excesses and the actions that they engage in, okay, from time to time are indefensible, okay? A lot of people in my community will get mad at me for this. They'll be like, how dare you say that? It's just, it is, okay? Any violation of international law is going to be something that is critical, okay? Worthy of criticism. The problem is, if you spend a good deal of time condemning that shit, then you're missing the forest for the trees, okay? It doesn't matter in comparison to the violence that Israel is subjecting the Palestinians to. It should not change that dynamic or the calculation of whether or not genocide is permissible, whether or not apartheid is permissible. It's not. And these guys don't want to talk about that. That's why they spend a good deal of time talking about Hamas. Hamas could be the greatest, most moral defenders of the Palestinian emancipatory movement, and you'd still fucking oppose them. Bro, you were on the last shoe on head video. I will literally shoot myself with a gun if you bring that shit up in here, okay? Why? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go out, purchase a shotgun, shoot myself in the face, not die in the process, but at least lose significant chunks of my fucking brain so I can operate at the same substandard, suboptimal IQ level that Shoe on Head and her dumb fuck audience operates in so I can do a regular response to that? Is that what you want me to do? Do you want me to lose chunks of my brain? Do you want me to John Fetterman myself so I can understand the compelling argument the Shoe on Head makes, one that should have been left in the dustbin of history all the way back in 2016? Ooh, look at me. I'm an emo girl and I change my politics all the fucking time. Ooh, look at me. As an emo girl, I look like that one meme on the internet, okay? 4chan guys who are now 38 years old want to fap to me. Fuck. Why would you openly admit that you listen to Shoe on Head in 2026, man? What the fuck is wrong with you? Every single one of these people are stupid fucking grifters, okay? They flip-flop like flapjacks. Nick Fuentes is another one of these dipshits. I mean, he's consistent on his anti-Semitism, but he keeps going back and forth on whether he wants to punish the Republican Party for being too philo-Semitic, or whether or not he wants to actually demand that the Republican Party punish the opposition. He goes back and forth on it all the time. None of these motherfuckers are consistent. None of these motherfuckers have a genuine worldview. At least with Nick Fuentes, he does have one. It's repulsive, it's toxic, it's disgusting, but at least I can like associate him with a movement, with an ideology. But people like Shoe on Head are basically a humanoid version of a fucking Reddit aggregator. They just spit out shit that they see on subreddits. So why the fuck are you going there? You might as well just go to the subreddit directly and read all the commentary that they turn into video essays. Jesus Christ. What an unbearable fucking way to exist, dude. Oh, I'm getting all my politics from Shoe on Head. Honestly, good luck, dude. People should be more embarrassed, okay? What happened to shame? What happened to shame? If you're getting your politics from a person like Shoe on Head, you should be embarrassed. Go spend some time in the real world. Try to explain to people that this is the person that's educating you on your worldview. God, it's like saying, oh, I get my politics from fucking Patrick Bet-David. Oh my God, the things I want to say to people like this. All right, let's get to the goddamn president.
Is preparing to address Congress this morning.
I gotta piss.
A tone of unity as tensions over the war in Iran and the Epstein scandal loom large. This after a royal welcome. The King and Queen Camilla touched down in Washington and headed straight to the White House for tea with the Trumps. taking time to stroll through the South Lawn, checking out the presidential beehive with the President and First Lady, before going to a garden party at the ambassador's residence. Today, after an official ceremonial welcome this morning, King Charles will head to Capitol Hill. In a 20-minute speech, he will reference Saturday night's shooting and express his solidarity and support. His remarks have been carefully crafted by senior diplomats, and he'll call the UK-US relationship one of the greatest alliances in human history, and call for our shared values to be defended. And after President Trump's stinging attacks on Britain for not joining the war in Iran, Charles will talk of reconciliation and renewal.
He's obviously acutely aware that everyone is going to be hanging on to his every word. Because of the situation politically, this has become a very high-stakes visit, and King Charles is walking a bit of a tightrope. He needs to utilise that soft power and have influence, but he can't stray into anything that...
It's so funny that basically everyone knows exactly what's going on, except for Trump, I guess. Everyone knows he's a baby. It's basically like bringing Mickey Mouse out. You know what I mean? The king is the Mickey Mouse of the United Kingdom.
Street where the boys runs do be, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with this chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you run medals down in Flanders.
About that. A goddamn child. People are basically walking around on eggshells where they're like, we got to bring the king out. We got to bring the fucking king out. I mean, it's great. As an American, I do actually like this a little bit. Like, I think, look, no disrespect to the United Kingdom, no disrespect to my British comrades out there, but I will say this. The royalty does deserve this humiliation, right? In my opinion, I think it's worth it. It's due, right? It's due time for the royals to be, tarred and feathered in this way, spiritually, right? Cucked. So I do think it's kind of good.
We, on the other hand, are colonized by wankers.
Don't get mad at me. This is nothing to do with my British comrades and your daily struggles over there. Okay, I'm not talking shit about England. I'm just saying that, like, the concept of royalty, I do not understand. It's very strange, and very silly, really. So it's wonderful that this, like, symbolism of monarchy that is resilient has to go through this ritualistic humiliation in an effort to create better relations between the UK and the United States of America. It's also funny that it's yet another example of Keir Starmer's incompetence. Britain's ambassadorship to Washington said the U.S. has one true special relationship, probably Israel. Oh, not the UK, in remarks reported by the Financial Times that risk overshadowing King Charles's U.S. visit. He also criticized U.S. accountability over Jeffrey Epstein, saying it was extraordinary the scandal hasn't touched anybody despite links to prominent figures. Oh my God. Oh my God. Blah, blah, blah. It's true. Everything here is 100% true. All facts, no printer, okay? Oh my God, put that shit in the news. Oh my God. What an incredible hot mic moment. Christian Turner, UK ambassador to the US.
Is a phrase I try not to utter because it's quite nostalgic, it's quite backwards looking, and it has a lot of sort of baggage about it. I think there is probably one country that has a special relationship with the United States, and that is probably Israel. It is a phrase.
Yeah, you can't say this stuff, especially in England, by the way. I mean, you could say this in America, right? But British people are extra hard on the anti-Semitism allegations. They go nutty over it. They love that shit. Okay, it's their favorite thing. Oh no, can't believe the UK ambassador to the US, Christian Turner, said something that 90% of the population of the Western world understand now. I don't even say believe because it's just the reality. And he had the audacity to, in a private moment, communicate the fucking truth. The truth that is no longer such a secret, by the way. A truth that everyone understands and recognizes and observes, right? Uh-oh, time to get fired, Christian Turner. That'll show him. That'll show him. That'll stop people from recognizing that America places Israel in a higher status than every other country, including, in many instances, Americans, right? Israel has killed American citizens. America doesn't do anything about it. Oh no, Christian Turner said the truth. You can't say that. It's unacceptable to say the truth. The truth that is now the overwhelmingly popular position as well. It's not even like, oh, this is a hidden truth that you can't say. It's one that everyone observes and everyone notices and everyone understands is the reality. Okay? Oh. Our mayor gave this praise to Trump being safe, then went straight to the Israeli embassy. But that is literally what the king's job is, a literal ambassador. That's true. I guess you're right. It's just funny to reduce yourself to this position when you're a monarch, I think. When you reduce yourself to this position where you have to be talked down by a figure that you know is repulsive, right? A hothead. Because normally, when you're the monarch, when you're the king, other people, both historically and even to this day, I think it's like kept up through a system of routines, and you know, there's like a way to address the king. There's certain things you can't say towards the king or about the king. There's like all these weird rules, right? So Trump doesn't care about any of that. And we know he doesn't care about any of that. He, as a matter of fact, enjoys violating those rules because he can. So I find it somewhat funny, somewhat entertaining to imagine a guy who has no respect for that status, who, you know, likes that you're royalty but can like dominate you, and you're reducing yourself to simply a style figure for the personal
Lesbian
enjoyment
hot
and
sauce is
consumption
iconic.
of a baby man who you know is disgusting. He's disgusting. Trump is, right? And no, I don't think the king cares that he's a pedophile, right? Like, obviously, his brother is a pedophile in the same exact vein, right? So that's not even what I'm talking about. It's like infinitely more embarrassing that this repulsive figure gets to talk down to you. You're the king. And you are now the product of losing a 13 colony lead, reducing yourself to this servile status with hopes that you can with hopes that you can actually create better relationships with the true empire that you are now a vassal to. Anyway, um, it's funny that he also had smoke for the Epstein situation. He criticized the U.S. accountability over Jeffrey Epstein, saying it was extraordinary that the scandal hasn't touched anybody despite links to prominent figures. Smoke. Christian Turner. I don't know this man at all. I suspect he's not a very good person. Especially if he's the UK ambassador to the US. Given what I know about the former UK ambassador to the US, the guy he replaced, I don't know if he's that great of a guy, but he is correct here, right? Britain's ambassador to Washington has said America's only special relationship is probably Israel, not the UK, in remarks that risk embarrassing King Charles during his visit to the U.S. this week. Yeah, oh no, the truth is embarrassing the King Charles.
It's extraordinary to me that the furore, the scandal over Epstein, convicted sex offender, has gone right to the top of the British system, brought down, senior member of the royal family, British ambassador to Washington, potentially the Prime Minister, and yet here in the US, it really hasn't touched anybody. I think that is an interesting question you should ask American lawmakers you meet about the different levels of accountability in our systems. We're currently moving on a hill to bring to account some of those senior...
Yeah, I mean, the guy, the king, had his brother arrested, apprehended, humiliated, right? He lost all of his titles even before this this latest round of legal scrutiny. Mendelssohn too, right? For better or for worse, there has been some semblance of accountability in the United Kingdom against Epstein affiliates. Now, we're just scratching the surface because Epstein was deeply connected with many Western governments, the United Kingdom being one of them, only one of them. And Epstein obviously is deeply embedded in the American American espionage agencies, the American State Department. But in comparison to the way that the UK is handling, like, who has been punished in America? What high-profile figure has been punished for collaborating with a pedophile sex trafficker, a Mossad agent, an agent of the CIA? What American powerful financial figure? Nothing. The only accountability that has come for one person in the media was that one guy who was really excited about hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, and Barry Weiss did not even want to punish that person. He basically self-isolated. It's crazy. Oh yeah, a Harvard professor Larry Summers has been taken off of his I think he was the dean, right? He's no longer a dean or something. I mean, talk about a slap on the wrist, dude. Yeah, the Coldplay concert CEO got more punishment. Brett Cooper called you out on YouTube at 10 minutes in. Again, you should be embarrassed for watching Brett fucking Cooper.
Andrew Lambert. Windsor has been now called in to come and testify before Congress, and he's announced before Congress. The first question I ask is, how many Americans have been called to testify before Congress when the Epstein files show a lot of very, very senior people, politicians, business...
Are you doing something in New York City today? Yes, but off camera. I have a bunch of different things I'm going to be doing. Sam Cedar raid? Hey, Sam Cedar. The Majority Report. Thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream.
Bill Gates, all having a close association with it. Special relationship is a phrase I try not to utter because it's quite nostalgic, it's quite backwards looking, and it has a lot of sort of baggage about it. I think there is.
He's like, I'm jealous. Don't say special relationship because the UK doesn't have a special relationship with America. Only one country has a special relationship, and that's Israel.
Only one country that has a special relationship with the United States, and that's probably Israel. So there is deep history and affinity between us. Particularly in our defence and security, we are intertwined. There are things we do together that no two other countries do. As I've mentioned, our economies are very close. But I think if I'm honest, I don't think it's over. No, I don't agree with Mark Carney that we're in a moment of rupture. I think we're certainly at the end of an era, and the era is changing. But I don't think it's a break, as Carney advised at Davos. But I think we do need to work to redefine, particularly in defence and security, accept that we in Europe can't just rely on a US security umbrella. So the relationship will carry on if you want being special, but I think it's going to have to be different. And my advice to my Prime Minister is I can't just sit there and put my hands on my ears and say it's special, it's going to be fine. We've got to work really clearly to see what we, the UK, bring to the table. To get to a threshold where you remove the Prime Minister from the Labour Party, according to Labour Party rules, as I'm sure you know, is really quite hard. 80 MPs have to sign a letter in public, which is like signing a death warrant. It's much harder than for the Tories. So I think that is still quite difficult. And Keir personally is he's a stubborn guy. He's never lost a fight he's in. And so I think Keir saying I'm quitting is quite a high bar. So probably the moment I would look to is the May elections. If Labour does very badly in the May elections, I suspect the party will move to go over that threshold and remove him. It seems to be the conventional thinking. If they do okay.
The King's speech is starting soon, not the movie. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what the fucking King has to say with his potato fingers. Glenn Greenwald deleted tweet about Barry Weiss. Photo editors can do almost more than anyone in shaping how a news article or profile is perceived. Oh my God, that is crazy. That is the gayest Glenn has been, okay? I'm sorry. That's hilarious. That is drama, okay?
For me, that's just me as a citizen speculating because I have to serve, remember.
Hassan, do you wear wigs? Yeah, I do. I'm wearing one right now. I'm bald, actually. Glenn ate no crumbs. True. Glenn slowly growing back on me in a weird way. I mean, yeah, he's always been good on Israel and stuff, so it's not surprising. 20 minutes till speech. Vance is already there. Yeah. Yeah, bro thinks he's Netanyahu. Okay, that's the real one true king. Okay, the real king of America, the American Empire, the one who sits on top of that throne, is not King Charles. Bro thinks he's Benjamin Netanyahu with a joint meeting of Congress, like addressing a joint session. No, sir. Let's see if Fetterman wore a suit for this one. Probably not. He only does it for the real king. Anyway, comments were made in the weeks running up to the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran that began the current conflict in the Middle East. That one of the other things I saw here, you are being anti-Semitic. Yes, I know. I know. What was I going to say? One of the other ways of trying to understand whether or not the war effort is going well is by listening to our vassals. Okay. Now, there is varying degrees of being cucked, right? The maximum cuckening is when you're Kash Patel. right? Kash Patel level is like the maximum cuck, where your girlfriend is holding someone else's hand during a shootout, right? And you're embarrassed by this because it's reported on in the Gray Lady, the paper of record, the New York Times. So England is fairly cucked to the United States of America, but I wouldn't say Kash Patel level cucked, right? They're not Kash level, if that's the highest level of being cucked. But there is one country in Europe that is, I think, Kash level cucked, and that country is Germany. And even German leadership has been openly saying that Iran has embarrassed America. Okay? So when you got German leadership, Merz specifically, the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, the man with the most expensive haircut of all time, with nothing to show for it, coming out and saying Iran is humiliating the U.S., that's when you know things have gotten out of hand. Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz questioned the U.S. exit strategy in Iran, warning Washington is being humiliated as Tehran negotiates very skillfully and appears stronger than expected. Speaking to students in Marsburg, he urged a swift end to the conflict, citing mounting economic fallout for Germany. Let's hear what he had to say. The Americans obviously have no strategy. We have seen this very painfully in Afghanistan for 20 years. We've seen that in Iraq. So this story is, as I said, at least ill-considered. I don't recognize at the moment which strategic exit the Americans are now choosing, especially since the Iranians are obviously negotiating very cleverly, and then let the Americans travel to Islamabad and leave again without results. It humiliates an entire nation. The Iranian government, particularly through the so-called Revolutionary Guards, and I don't see how that can be achieved in the short term, because the Iranians are obviously stronger than expected, and the Americans, clearly, they do not have a really convincing strategy in the negotiations either. Friedrich Merz, I think, genuinely nutted when America bombed Iran alongside Israel, okay? He might have actually dropped the fat rope on camera when he found out. He was so giddy. Friedrich Merz, who has famously said things like, Israel is doing our dirty work. That man is now saying Americans are embarrassing themselves. Iran is putting belt to ass. This was the Chancellor's statement. The USA and Israel have been conducting massive military strikes against Iran since Saturday. Chancellor Merz is in close contact with European partners, Israel, and partners in the region. He will discuss developments with U.S. President Trump in Washington on Tuesday. The regime threatened Israel's existence, was responsible for the terror of Hamas and Hezbollah, and its nuclear and missile programs threaten peace and security, said the Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome on the situation in the Middle East. On this beautiful Sunday, in recent days and weeks, we witnessed an unprecedented number of wars and upheaval, both around the world. He said Germany and the EU have also have own European ideas on how to get a resolution of the conflict and will continue their diplomatic cooperation, coordination with the U.S. Underway again for Germany for some time now. Oh, dude, he's doing, oh my God, he's doing bilateral talks with Iran. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, Iran is literally forcing multipolarity. That's crazy. I cannot believe it. It's unheard of. I will be honest with you, I never thought it would be Iran. Like I thought, multipolarity being forced upon the world by the likes of another warring party like Russia, certainly, right? And this doesn't justify Russia's actions, by the way. I'm not saying that like Russia was justifiable in invading Ukraine. I don't think so. I don't think they are. But that was shaking the system, right? That was shaking and shook America's hegemonic status, right? Especially because after, multiple years at this point, the entirety of the Western world's support has not been able to successfully purge Russia from the boundaries of Ukraine. Again, this is not, I'm not saying this is good, okay? I'm not saying that. I know a lot of you get very sensitive around the Ukraine issue when you hear someone that has a different perspective than you, okay? And I have to be extra sensitive and extra careful when I talk about Ukraine. Now that I know Ukraine objectively has shooters in the United States of America, I don't want to be the target of their enmity. Okay, I apologize, Dylan Burns. Please don't send your Fedayeen after me. Okay, I don't want Ryan Ruth, his 1,000 NATO-trained Afghan soldiers, or Cole Allen to come and assassinate me. I'm not the fucking president. Okay, so I have to be extra careful on this issue, just qualifying all my statements. But here's the thing. I would have expected Russia to force America's hand and show the European partners that there are other regional powers out there who are capable of being insane enough and like break the system of unipolarity, break the system of American hegemony, right? I never thought that country would be Iran. I guess these things work in coordination and tandem with one another, but Iran, by simply approaching this issue because they see it as a crisis of survival, and being steadfast in their defense of their own sovereignty, has forced the hand of European counterparts that have been vassals for far too long into bilateral commitments with Iran. Into, I don't know what those commitments are going to look like. I don't know what those commitments will look like, but I suspect that any kind of decision making that does not involve the United States of America, any kind of bilateral decision making with Iran, is a major step against American hegemony. Right? And Iran, I think, would not have this much success in getting assurances from European allies if it wasn't Donald Trump leading the helm, leading the war effort. If it wasn't, if it was a competent Republican, for example, or if it was a competent Democrat, I think they would do a lot better as far as maintaining relationships. They probably would not have invaded Iran. We know this because even the most insane, the most intensely ultra-Zionist leadership on the Democratic side with Joe Biden objectively did not bomb Iran, right? They were training for it. They were training for the opportunity. And if you believe Amos Hochstein, they were going to do it, but they didn't. Trump did. Trump took it there. And not only did Trump take it there, but Trump has also been undermining its global partners, its NATO partners that are profoundly important to maintaining American military-industrial contracts, maintaining American interests all around the globe, as Mark Rutte has openly admitted, right? I think all of that is the reason why even these goddamn servile cucks that are in charge of great industrial powers like Germany, the economic engine that runs the European Union, are finally saying, yeah, maybe we got to reconsider America's position on the global stage. It's kismet. It's perfectly chaotic. And some might even assume this was an inevitability considering how vast the American empire was, spread too thin, right? No country can be everywhere all at once and be a domineering force for thousands of years. So there was an inevitability that the end of American empire would come, but I do think Donald Trump has accelerated the demise. For sure. I guess the accelerationists were right in that regard. Merz is a waffling cretin, militarizing Germany, radicalizing society, and losing support faster than Starmer, making a takeover by the post-Nazi AfD all but inevitable. Yeah. Is this photo real, Lamau? Yes. The bigger question here is if the Americans are as strategically stupid as Merz is saying, why do Germany and the rest of the European leadership insist on tying their future to them? Where is Germany or Europe's independent strategy on Iran? Didn't Merz issue, together with Macron and Starmer, a joint statement at the beginning of the war condemning Iran for the war? Doesn't that make them even more strategically inept when your own public diagnosis is that the ship is sinking and your response is to stay on board? This is just vassalage with editorial commentary, which is even more strategically stupid than whatever Trump is doing. Yeah, I mean, if this kind of negative sentiment is not tied with like bilateral commitments that undermine America's interests, then it's nothing. Then yeah, you are even dumber than Donald Trump, right? It's true. We shall see. When he says Germany and the EU have their own European ideas on how to get a resolution on the conflict that will continue their diplomatic efforts in coordination with the US, perhaps they will do that. I don't know what that looks like as it stands currently. I don't have a lot of confidence in especially this crop of European leadership because many of them are still very much neoliberals, very much center-right figures, very much figures that are invested in defending the interests of the same international consortium of capital that the American leadership is invested in defending the interests of. So I don't know where they will go, but this is opening up potentially new opportunities. Once again, it'll just never not be funny that these guys know how fucking stupid Donald Trump is. They know how childish he is, and they're at the mercy of the whims of a madman. And they have to play ball, and they have to glaze him, and they have to like humiliate themselves. They have to debase themselves to ensure that they do not receive the wrath of American empire. They're like, please, Mr. President, don't invade a NATO country. That was the conversation, remember. These guys that have talked about how big of a threat Russia is to European security, right, had to now cover their left flank out of nowhere. They were like, what? What do you mean you are going to militarily annex a piece of the European continent? You already have bases everywhere. What are you talking about? And every time Donald Trump gets mad, he floats that shit over and over again. Part of the reason why the king is here in the United States, aside from his joint session address, is because he has to explain to the president. I talked about this like last week or a couple weeks ago. Maybe you guys remember. Part of the reason why the president or the king has to visit the president is so he can explain to him that Canada is a part of the Commonwealth. As in, if he's trying to urge Trump by using his symbolic status and you know, Trump's interest in the royal family to stop him from militarily annexing parts of Canada. It sounds like a joke. If you were to tell me, not 10 years ago, because 10 years ago it was still Trump, but if you were to tell me 20 years ago, okay, if you were to tell me 20 years ago that this is what would be happening right now, like that the American president was threatening to militarily annex Canada, threatened to militarily annex parts of Europe, and that that he had the attitude of a baby, like a child, and that the British king or the queen at the time would have to do a visit to beg the American president not to invade Canada and to remind or educate the person, the American president, that like Canada is a part of the Commonwealth. So you're technically invading, you know, a part of the great British Empire. I would assume that, I mean, I would say that's unbelievable. There's just no shot. 14-year-old Hassan was probably too busy jorking it to listen, though. True.
Congress, of course, a Congress that is very split on the United States' involvement in Iran. Of course, the president also making a few jokes about his mother's love for the royal family as well, which the president clearly does share. But the president really emphasizing that the United States and the UK share the same root, they speak the same language, and they hold the same values. We expect the king to really drive home that very similar message here today in just a few moments, David.
But Rachel, we did also take note that the president stayed away from any comments on the British Prime Minister.
He certainly did, and that was very notable. You know, President Trump is not...
The fuck can His Highness do, though? He's turbo cooked and speaking to an ape? No, this is important. Bro, Trump is an ape? Think about the king as like a banana, right? Like that's what this is. They're like, oh, it's feeding time. Like the king here is just like doing this gesture so that the ape is calm. The ape calms down. That's literally all this is. And it's funny because everyone knows that that's what this is. Like there's no like secret purpose here. It's pretty out there. Keir Starmer is incapable of doing diplomacy with Donald Trump because he is a horribly uncharismatic douchebag who has fallen greatly out of favor, right? Trump doesn't respect him, but Trump actually likes the royal family. So Trump's like, oh, it's the king. The king is coming to me. Like these are, in some ways, this does remind me of like, things that you read about dictatorships in the third world, right? Like some kind of fascist warlord that we've propped up in an African country, and it's like a horribly violent monster that is an American puppet, and all of the other regional partners have to satiate his appetite and like try to figure out what things he's interested in to basically have a polite conversation. And that's what the rest of the world is doing to Trump. That's literally what's going on. Trump is, for all intents and purposes, like a bad dog, right? An untrained dog that was maybe abused and angry and like lashing out at people. And now, instead of a Cesar Millan style approach where someone comes in and goes, you know, and stops the dog from biting everybody, we're just trying to give the dog enough treats so that we fatten the dog up so he calms the fuck down. We're trying to bribe the dog to not bite the delivery guy. The Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, thinks it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This is his number one. He's like, oh, you oppose me? You oppose me? Oh, you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? Sure, bud. That's what's going on here. The Pope wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Friedrich Merz wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. He's got one speed. This is his only retort. Anyone that says, hey, man, maybe you should stop fucking the international energy markets with your penis. Anytime people say this reasonable thing, Trump's response is, oh, I guess you want Iran to nuke you. He said Pope Leo wants Iran to have nuclear arms. He doesn't know what he's talking about. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, the whole world would be held hostage. I'm doing something with Iran right now that other nations or presidents should have done long ago. No wonder Germany is doing so poorly, both economically and otherwise. President Donald J. Trump. Dog, part of the reason why Germany is doing so poorly economically and otherwise is because of us. Okay? They'd set up gas contracts with Russia that we forced them out of, and now they have to purchase expensive American gas instead, and they're staring down the barrel of an energy crisis already, or they were experiencing the impact of an energy crisis, and now it's worsened. Now it's worsened directly as a consequence of your actions. This is before we even factor in American tariffs. No, I don't want Truth Social to send me notifications. What the hell? Secret Service agent shot during Trump assassination bid may have been hit by a colleague. You don't say. Oh, wow. How shocking. Who could have speculated that on the first night? Who was getting yelled at in the chat, being like, Hassan, why are you claiming that it might have been friendly fire? Pre-watch Piker. Piker Broadcasting Service, the People's Broadcasting Service, is sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people. The People's Broadcasting Service, Piker Broadcasting Service, for tomorrow's news today. If you'd like to support the show, if you'd like to support independent media, please subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime is free as long as you connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription a month. Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by your voluntary contributions, your gifted subs. Piker Broadcasting Service. For you, the people, by you, the people. Thank you. Set to it run. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs. Harmuzzi 91. Thank you for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs. And Furov, thank you for the 10. Closed presents with 50 bones. I mean, this is, again, purely speculative. But that was my initial assessment as well. Does the white monster mean you're a blue-collar worker? Yes. All right, the king is speaking.
King Charles, who made many visits to the
Members
U.S.
of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Majesty Charles III.
Let's listen.
wild drums that beat, and those loving English feet, they walked all over us. And every single night, when me dad would come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with his chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes of Killishandra. Come, let us hear you tell how you slandered great Parnell when you thought him well and truly persecuted. Where are the sneers and jeers that you loudly let us hear when our leaders of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes of Killishandra. Come tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had spears and bow and arrows. How bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened them damn natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes of Killishandra. Now the time is coming fast, and I think them days are here when each English Johnny and he'll run before us. And if there'll be a need, then our kids will say Godspeed with the verse or two of singing this fine chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes of Killishandra.
Whatever our differences, whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy.
Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no fucking homes of your own? For 800 years we fought you without fear, and we'll fight you for 800 more. And if you stay, British soldiers, if you stay, you'll never ever beat the IRA. For those 14 men in Derry are the last that you will bury. So take a tip and leave us Windy Bay. Oh, we'll fight some British soldiers for the cause. We'll never bow to soldiers because throughout our history we're born duty free. So get out, you British bastards, leave us be. Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no fucking homes of your own? For 800 years we fought you without fear, and we'll fight you for 800 more. And if you stay, British soldiers, if you stay, you'll never ever beat the IRA. For those 14 men in Derry are the last that you will bury. So take a tip and leave us Windy Bay. Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no fucking homes of your own? For 800 years we fought you without fear, and we'll fight you for 800 more. We're not Saxon, we're not British, we're not English. We're Irish and proud we are to be. So fuck your Union Jack, we want our country back. It's Ireland and Ireland it will be. Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no fucking homes of your own? For 800 years we fought you without fear, and we'll fight you for 800 more. And if you stay, British soldiers, if you stay, you'll never ever beat the IRA. Well, there's 14 men in Derry, or the last that you will bury. So take a tip and leave us while you may. Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no fucking homes of your own? For 800 years we fought you without fear, and we'll fight you for 800 more. And if you stay, British soldiers, if you stay, you'll never ever beat the IRA. Well, there's 14 men in Derry, and the last that you will bury. So take a tip and leave us while you may.
This morning, the Irish Republican Army released a statement taking full responsibility for the execution of Lord Mountbatten and for the deaths of the 18 British servicemen killed in our attacks at Warren Point. 13 gone and not forgotten, we got 18 on Mountbatten. To Irish Republicans, Lord Mountbatten was the ultimate symbol of imperialist oppression. Each year, he came to sit in his castle on land stolen by the English. He knew the risks in coming here. And his death represents a legitimate blow against an enemy target. Over the coming weeks and months, you will all bear witness to the cloying tributes paid to this so-called hero. But where are the tears of the British government for those men, women and children of Ireland who've lost their lives? Where is their grand funeral or solemn state occasion? Who will eulogise their deaths or pay tribute to the lives of the many Irish citizens so cruelly cut short, like the 13 innocent civilians murdered by the British on Bloody Sunday? 13 gone, not forgotten, we got 18 on Mountbatten.
They that go down to the sea in ships.
This is war, and there will be casualties. But while the British crown remains in Ireland, whatever blood is shed will be on their hands.
He maketh the storm to cease, so that the
owning that room. Look, I hate the king. I hate the monarchy. I have to admit, he's kind of cooking. Like, he is surprisingly, I guess, when you have unlimited funds and unlimited trading, you can look like a ghoul and still be a competent speaker, it turns out. He's got a type 5. Like,
independence by balancing contending forces and drawing strength into diversity. They united 13 disparate colonies to forge a nation on the revolutionary idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They carried with them and carried forward the great inheritance of the British Enlightenment, as well as the ideals which had an even deeper history in English common law and Magna Carta.
why are they clapping for English common law and Magna Carta? Trump is literally trying to violate the fundamentals of Magna Carta.
Still vital.
He's gone biblical, dude. That's what's so crazy about Donald Trump's like destruction of due process. Like that shit is a concept that has been around for longer than liberalism has been around. Like this is a ancient concept that is fundamentally important to modernity.
And further back in history, the U.S. Supreme Court Historical Society has calculated that
if Trump
Magna
knew
Carta,
what Magna Carta was, he would be so mad right now for the king bringing it up.
court cases since 1789, not least as the foundation of the principle that executive power is subject to checks and balances.
The fucking king! Oh my God, the king is giving a lesson on civics. Oh my God, the king is delivering a joint address to Congress, warning about the dangers of Donald Trump's unbelievable seizure of power, and these dumb fuck Americans are clapping for it. Oh my God, the king is woke.
This is the reason why there stands a stone by the River Thames at Runnymede, where Magna Carta was signed in the year 1215. This stone records that an acre of that ancient and historic site was given to the United States of America by the people of the United Kingdom to symbolize our shared resolve in support of liberty and in memory of President John F. Kennedy. Distinguished members of the 119th Congress, it is here in these very halls that this spirit of liberty and the promise of America's founders is present in every session and every vote cast, not by the will of one, but by the deliberation of many, representing the living mosaic of the United States. In both of our countries, it is the very fact of our vibrant, diverse, and free societies that gives us our collective strength, including to support victims of some of the ills that so tragically exist in both our societies today. And, Mr. Speaker, for many here, and for myself, the Christian faith is a firm anchor and daily inspiration that guides us, not only personally, but together as members of our community. Having devoted a large part of my life to interfaith relationships and greater understanding, it is that faith in the triumph of light over darkness which I have found confirmed countless times. Through it, I am inspired by the profound respect that develops as people of different faiths grow in their understanding of each other.
Boo!
It is why, it is my hope, my prayer, that in these turbulent times, working together and with our international partners, we can stem the beating of plowshares into swords.
Okay.
I am mindful that we are still in the season of Easter, the season that most strengthens my hope. It is why I believe with all my heart that the essence of our two nations is a generosity of spirit and a duty to foster compassion, to promote peace, to deepen mutual understanding, and to value all people of all faiths and of none.
I mean, I used the swords to plowshares analogy in my Yale speech as well, talking about what the biblical the biblical analogy, talking about what America didn't do.
The alliance that our two nations have built over the centuries, and for which we are profoundly grateful to the American people, is truly unique. And that alliance is part of what Henry Kissinger described as Kennedy's soaring vision of an Atlantic partnership based on twin pillars, Europe and America. That partnership, I believe, Mr. Speaker, is more important today than it has ever been. The first reigning British sovereign to set foot in America was my grandfather, King George VI. He visited in 1939 with my beloved grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. The forces of fascism in Europe were on the march, and sometime before the United States had joined us in the defense of freedom, our shared values prevailed. Today, we find ourselves in a new era, but those values remain. It is an era that is in many ways more volatile and more dangerous than the world to which my late mother spoke in this chamber in 1991. The challenges we face are too great for any one nation to bear alone. But in this unpredictable environment, our alliance cannot rest on past achievements or assume that foundational principles simply endure. As my Prime Minister said last month, ours is an indispensable partnership. We must not disregard everything that has sustained us for the last 80 years. Instead, we must build on it. Renewal.
There's an ad boosted from... Okay, dude.
Renewal today starts with security. The United Kingdom recognizes that the threats we face demand a transformation in British defense. That is why our country, in order to be fit for the future, has committed to the biggest sustained increase in defense spending since the Cold War, during part of which, over 50 years ago, I served with immense pride in the Royal Navy, following in the naval footsteps of my father, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, my grandfather, King George VI, my great-uncle, Lord Mountbatten, and my great-grandfather, King George V. This year, of course, also marks the 25th anniversary of 9/11. This atrocity was a defining moment for America, and your pain and shock were felt around the whole world. During my visit to New York, my wife and I will again pay our respects to the victims, the families, and the bravery shown in the face of terrible loss. We stood with you then, and we stand with you now in solemn remembrance of a day that shall never be forgotten.
He's gonna blame you? Okay, guys. No, he's not. Shut up. Long forgotten are the pains, the shared pains of 9/11. As one American radical has said, America deserved it. How dare you allow such insolence?
Was united in the face of terror. We answered the call together, as our people have done so for more than a century, shoulder to shoulder, through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Afghanistan, and moments that have defined our shared security. Today, Mr. Speaker, that same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous people. It is needed in order to secure a truly just and lasting peace. From the depths of the Atlantic to the disastrously melting ice caps of the Arctic, the commitment and expertise of the United States Armed Forces and its allies lie at the heart of NATO, pledged to each other's defense, protecting our citizens and interests, keeping North Americans and Europeans safe from our common adversaries. Our defense, intelligence and security ties,
the indigenous
are hardwired
populations of the third world
not in years,
who yearn for liberation.
Today, thousands of U.S. service personnel, defense officials and their families are stationed in the United Kingdom as British personnel serve with equal pride across 30 American states. We are building F-35s together. And we have agreed the most ambitious submarine program in history, AUKUS.
Oh, wow. How shocking.
And we are doing it in partnership with Australia, a country of which I'm also immensely proud to serve as sovereign. We do not embark on these remarkable endeavors together out of sentiment. We do so because they build greater shared resilience for the future, so making our citizens safer for generations to come. Our common ideals were not only crucial for liberty and equality, they are also the foundation of our shared prosperity. The rule of law, the certainty of stable and accessible rules, an independent judiciary resolving disputes and delivering impartial justice. These features created the conditions for centuries of unmatched economic growth in our two countries. This is why our governments are concluding new economic and technology agreements to write the next chapter of our joint prosperity and ensure that British and American ingenuity continues to lead the world. Our nations are combining talent and resources in the technologies of tomorrow. Our new partnerships in nuclear fusion and quantum computing and in AI and drug discovery, holding the promise of saving countless lives.
Someone in chat said, did he write this or does he have a speechwriter? What do you think, man?
The $430 billion
of course he has a team of speechwriters. He's the king.
That continues to grow. The $1.7 trillion in mutual investment that fuels that innovation. And the millions of jobs on both sides of the Atlantic supported across both economies. These are strong foundations on which to continue to build for generations yet unborn. Our ties in education, research, and cultural exchange empower citizens and future leaders of both countries. The Marshall Scholarship, named after the great General George Marshall, and the association of which I am so proud to be patron, are emblematic of the connection between our two countries. Since its founding, more than 2,300 scholarships have been awarded, opening doors for Americans from all walks of life to study at the United Kingdom's leading universities. So as we look toward the next 250 years, we must also reflect on our shared responsibility to safeguard nature, our most precious and irreplaceable asset. millennia before our nations existed, before any border drawn, the mountains of Scotland and Appalachia were one, a single continuous range forged in the ancient collision of continents. The natural wonders of the United States of America are indeed a unique asset.
Out of all of the mouth-breathing losers in that room, J.D. Vance is the only one well-read enough to understand what the king is actually preaching here. So that's perhaps the reason why he's not clapping for some of the statements. I hate J.D. Vance, but let's be real, he's a fucking Yale-educated guy.
Roosevelt called the glorious heritage of this land's extraordinary natural splendor, on which so much of its prosperity has always depended. Yet, even as we celebrate the beauty that surrounds us, our generation must decide.
Turks are marching and protesting. Zoran, will you join?
Critical natural systems,
Mamdani manhandles Muslim Turks with means of accusation of
and
genocide.
essential diversity of nature. We ignore at our peril the fact that these natural systems, in other words, nature's own economy,
how dare he,
provide the foundation for our prosperity and our national security.
Yeah, that's why I'm in New York City, guys. I'm here to lobby Mamdani on behalf of the beautiful nation state of Turkey.
The story of the United Kingdom and the United States is at its heart a story of reconciliation, renewal, and remarkable partnership. From the bitter divisions of 250 years ago, we forged a friendship that has grown.
Are we all
into
watching this
one
because you don't
of
like
the
us
most
anymore?
Consequential alliances
I mean,
in
this
human
is a
history.
pretty decent speech. I want to see what he has to
pray with
say.
all
The
my
entirety
heart
of Congress is there.
that our alliance will continue to defend our shared values.
This is a far better speech than fucking Benjamin Netanyahu.
And across the world. And
I don't agree with his glazing of the British Empire and now the American Empire, but it's still important to hear what he has to say. He's the fucking king.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, America's words carry weight and meaning, as they have since independence. The actions of this great nation matter even more.
This is
President Lincoln understood this so well.
I hope you understand,
with his
guys.
reflection
This is
in
so
the
far
magisterial Gettysburg Address.
30 minutes of him being like, come on, we have our
world may
shared
little note
values.
what we
Yeah,
say.
sure, we kill our enemies and stuff. We do empire shit, but like, stop being insane.
To the United States of America.
This is the most polite
On your
version of a
250th
scolding.
birthday,
Okay?
let our two countries rededicate ourselves.
Yeah, of course, you can't
to
really
each other
understand it as a
the
scolding because it's far too polite and not blunt enough. It's too
And
subtle.
of all the peoples of the world.
So Trump is not going to get the message
God
until
bless
the
the
media
United
goes,
States,
oh, the king
and
dunked
God
on
bless
Trump.
The United Kingdom.
A rousing address to a joint session of Congress in Washington. King Charles, the first monarch since his mother, Queen Elizabeth II.
It is really funny. I mean, look, I see the inherent irony of the king. Sure, it's a ceremonial role at this point, but still, a living, breathing monarch explaining to the American Congress that they have a duty to the Magna Carta and the shared values of freedom and democracy, that Donald Trump, that they shouldn't let Donald Trump get away with behaving like a king, like a mad king. But this was, for all intents and purposes, a scolding. Very polite, very subtle scolding. A very polite, very subtle warning. It's not an accident that he brought up Magna Carta as a shared value, okay? Donald Trump is trying to destroy due process. Donald Trump is moving in a way that is unbelievably undemocratic. This is the reason why he's doing this is what the main point of the speech was, which is, come on, We're the United Kingdom. I'm the king of the UK. I have sovereignty over the Commonwealth. We all have shared values. We're not saying don't stop murdering the Arabs, don't stop murdering the indigenous in the third world, but we are demanding you please take the democracy shit a little bit more seriously. It's fundamentally liberal, ironically enough. It's ironic because, you know, it's the king. The king is not supposed to be a liberal, right? The king is a monarch. But I guess the king is a little worried about the king-like manners of Donald Trump.
As this chamber really took in his words. The tone was light. It was hopeful, even as we face so much uncertainty abroad. And the king did not shy away from those moments. He delivered this message of unity and appreciation for the shared alliance. A message that, quite frankly, members on both sides of the aisle feel like is welcomed here. And of course, that
Donald Trump was like, nope,
I think that
nope, you're standing next to me because I'm a little bit like a king myself. You're standing next to me because I am the king, maybe even a king of all kings, the one true king.
Be a repair for what has become a fractured relationship.
Rachel Scott in the chamber. The king did not shy away from some heavy issues at one point in the speech, talking about how leadership of this country and back home, leadership not above the law, should always be subject to questions. Referencing
again a real says you moment, ironically, to be like, I mean, this is what happened. I need you to understand what happened to the Discord. It vanished. There's an issue. I don't know. Okay, there's a fucking problem with Discord. I think you'll be okay if you don't get to talk shit in the Discord for I don't know however long it'll take. I don't know why the Discord is down. Okay, you'll be fine. Jesus Christ.
As we approach this 250th birthday, saying they are not just the natural wonders, they are also the foundation that allows us to have an economy and to have prosperity, and that they too must be protected.
It's a piece of cake, it's like a pretty cake. It's the way it's hazy. You gotta do the cooking by the book. You know you can't be lazy. Never use a messy recipe. The cake will end up crazy. If you do the cooking by the book, then you'll have a
Bring it down, bitch. Let me see you back it up. Shut that ass down, load it, pick that motherfucker up. Bring it down, bitch.
Okay, I plugged in my mic just to say hello.
Lesbian, 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 lesbian.
Doral wants you to know they love lesbians.
Thanks, and that's the introduction to the channel. Lesbians. Welcome in. I hope your stream was good. I hope you're well, everyone. My mic's fine. I just don't know how to set it up properly. Yeah, we're just chilling and watching, doing some Has Watch. I hope your stream was good. Hi, everyone. I'll be back on Thursday for proper streaming. Of politics and stuff. Anyway, back to Has.
Now, oh my God, I'm a substitute term for evil. I mean, I take this responsibility seriously. The level of emotion I have now is undefeated, is unstoppable. This is an example of Fox randomly saying your name in every segment they do now.
Quote, look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have the glow like an expectant widow. What else could any reasonable, sane and sober person possibly conclude except that being a call for Trump, who works as hard as anybody on the planet, appears to be in excellent health, to be suddenly dead. Jimmy Kimmel is not a comedian. You know what he is? He's Hassan Piker with an ABC logo.
What is happening?
And ABC, which might as well be called MSABC at this point, just gave him a contract extension. Quote,
what the fuck?
Look at
it's just, it sucks that like the reason why they've turned me into this like evil deity is because of Israel. So none of those like liberals will ever turn around and make jokes because they also have to present me as this like untouchable figure. Because if this was over me saying like the Republicans are terrorists or whatever, then yeah, liberals don't care about that. They agree with it. They would have no issues with it. But like a lot of the prominent fixtures in liberal media also have a similar attitude about Israel that like Fox News has. You know? I have no idea how I became so infamous amongst Fox News boomers that they're now using. Substitute for evil. This completely defangs all your low-level haters. They must be fuming. Now they have a Nick Fuentes doesn't read as subversive when attacking you. He's just another shill in the chorus. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's true. Radical pikerist Raphael Warnock. Yeah. He's a real Hassan Piker, this guy. Unbelievable. Shout out to FD for this brief edit of you. Your subreddit is good sometimes. What is this? The FD signifier edit of Hassan goes pretty hard. I wish it could be turned into a full intro. What is this? Have I seen this before? Is this something I've seen already?
Accountable, such as Hassan, the biggest person in the creation space.
Hassan loves 9/11. What happened? I thought that was a successful campaign strategy, bitch. Oh yeah, that was You are Hassan Piker is the new You are Hamas. Yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, look, I'm honored. I'm honored by this. Okay? They are united in their hatred of me, and I welcome their hatred. Okay? Go ahead. Keep at it. Keep at it, baby. Yeah, I mean, this is, what would you do in this situation? Blame Hassan Piker. We used to make these jokes about drama slop tubers, and it turns out mainstream media is now behaving like drama slop tubers. It's incredible. Like Fox News has officially reached drama slop tuber status. Have you considered you are simply the Hassan of Pikers? I have. Look, man, these guys are real villains, right? I must be doing something right. You got 220K views on your Bilibili comments and you being white Chinese. He really loves Bilibili. This Chinese tunic suit looks very handsome. Oh my God, Bilibili is posting the meat pic. That's crazy. The end result of this kind of media bliss just means you become as popular as AOC. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I recognize what's going on, though. It's not. It's definitely creating a unique danger in my immediate life. Van Jones did a 10-minute hit piece on me. I know. Van, Dead Gaza Baby Jones. Yeah. Omar Badar has already responded to some of this. Gaslighting alert. The Israeli government systematically targets women and children in its genocide, kidnaps thousands of Palestinian civilians in dungeons without charge or trial, and uses rape as a weapon against Palestinian men, women, and children. So why does Vance support it? Well, we know why he supports it. Rick Scott posted you again. Wait, yeah, I saw this. I quote retweeted this already. Ro Khanna was asked once again about appearances that he has made with me, and he I don't know what he said, but I replied to that. By saying, in a just world, you would be in prison. I say, it's so funny to me that everyone hears Rick Scott's desperate cries and agrees that in a just society, he'd at least be thrown in prison for doing record-breaking Medicare fraud. Here's Rick Scott crying about me, or on Twitter, because Ro Khanna went on Brian Kill Me and was asked about his affiliations with the radical terrorist Hassan Piker.
Okay, here's Hassan Piker and some of the things he said.
If you cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. I'm pro stealing from big corporations because, you know, they steal quite a bit more from their own workers. Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder. Virtually every American has a similar experience, a shared experience where... Bro, the clips are getting shorter and shorter. The clips are getting shorter and shorter. At some point, they're just going to be like, I'll say, don't kill Rick Scott. And then they're just going to clip the kill Rick Scott part and be like, see? What do you think about that? They're like, look at that. We got him. We got him. Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about this, huh, Ro Khanna? Yeah. You hear him? You hear his words?
Okay, here's Hassan Piker and some of the things he said.
They steal quite from as the was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder. Virtually every American has a similar experience, a shared experience where they have a loved one that spent their last days instead of spending them with their family, spending it on the phone, talking to their healthcare provider.
I mean, this is just some of the stuff that he said. He says the Hezbollah flag is dope. He likes Hamas better than Republicans. Landlords are MFers. And you go and sit down with him and you put your reputation on the line and you want everybody else to take a step back?
Well, Brian, because I have said that Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. I was one of the first people who condemned it.
Ban the spammer? No, this is a really good retort. Hey, Grok, why is communism, socialism elitist, bureaucratic, and classist? This guy is now replying to my other fucking tweets with this. Like a question that he asked Grok, he's replying to my tweets with a question that he asked Grok elsewhere. Incredible work. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I didn't realize vexillology was illegal. Anyway, here, This is the state of discourse nowadays. People who ask Grok questions randomly and then post the question and response.
Shooting of the United Healthcare.
Beulah Jr., thank you for the 20 tier 1 gifted subs.
Executive. But millions of people follow Hassan Piker. Why? Because he's speaking about some of the frustrations. He's speaking about the fact that people don't have health care in America.
Bin Laden? Did you just compare me to Osama bin Laden? What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my God. The level of Islamophobia, bitch. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. What the fuck is this comparison? Bin Laden? Again, it's, oh my God. This fucking camera keeps falling. Oh, it's too heavy. Ugh. Okay, this is a little bit better. Did he pick bin Laden because he's racist? Because he could have said Hitler? I mean, that wouldn't have been great either, but I assume bin Laden is a not so subtle reference to, you know, me being Muslim. He's like, yeah, well, this fucking, you know, bin Laden had a lot of followers. Would you fucking have bin Laden on the broadcast too? Two guys that love doing 9/11s on American soil. This Islamic style commie, just like bin Laden.
America. Well, there are a lot of people on the podcast world, et cetera, who say things that are outrageous or sensationalist, and I push back when you do that. But we have to understand the anger in this country of people who feel they can't buy a house, they can't afford gas, they can't have health care, they're upset at the system. It's one of the reasons Trump won twice, and we have to engage while condemning the violence. But if you look at, I never engage in approving of violence, approving of the incitement of violence, and I'll condemn it when I hear it.
Congressman, I just can't believe you choose to go on. I mean, Cory Booker and others have not.
Yeah, he's going on your show, dumbass. You literally said you want to murder every homeless person. What are you talking about? You fantasized on, not this show, but on this network about how you had an appetite that was insatiable for the murder of the homeless. Okay? Again, if he's going on your show, I don't think you have a leg to stand on here. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Excellent pushback. I mean, seriously. I swear to God, what looked like Jimmy Patronis' Florida 1 District handed Camilla a weird-ass object. She was going down the aisle. Check out 1 minute. Okay, dude. Okay, calm down, all right? Stop panicking. It's probably fine. Anyway. So that was the good-natured Brian Kilme, who wants to murder the homeless, talking about how scary I am and how violent my commentary is. Is tonight Hannity night? No, it's not. No, it's not Hannity night yet. Anyway, here was Trump's speech. Now that you listened to, now that you heard from the king, let's hear from our American king, who is maybe not so verbose.
The centuries since we won our independence, Americans have had no closer friends than the British. We share that same root. We speak the same language. We hold the same values, and together our warriors have defended the same extraordinary civilization under twin banners of red, white, and blue. My wonderful mother, Mary McLeod, was born in Stornoway, Scotland, the Hebrides, and that's what they call very serious Scotland. There's no question about it. Some places they say, well, it wasn't really Scotland. The Hebrides, that's real serious Scotland. That's where they had their greatest of warriors, their greatest of warriors. She came to America at 19, met my incredible father. We loved him so much. We all loved him. We loved her. We loved him, Fred, and they were married for 63 years. And excuse me if you don't mind. That's a record we won't be able to match, darling. I'm sorry. Just not going to work out that way. We'll do well, but we're not going to do that well. 63 years. And my mother, I just see it so clearly. She loved, and I told the king this, she loved the royal family, and she loved the queen. And anytime the queen was involved in a ceremony or anything, my mother would be glued to the television, and she'd say, look, Donald, look how beautiful that is. She really did love the family, but I also remember her saying very clearly, Charles, look, young Charles, he's so cute. My mother.
Wow. He's a fantastic yapper. Fantastic yapper. He made a joke that he's going to die soon. I mean, he does. He makes those jokes all the time. Isn't Fox News in New York City? You should go on. Buddy, that's not how this works, okay? I don't just decide to appear on Fox News and then they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. First of all, Fox News has a similar attitude to Asmongold. Not only are they identical in their worldview, but they're also identical in their cowardice. They would much rather clip me out of context and address the clips instead of actually have me appear on their broadcast, because God forbid, I might convince some of their fucking followers. Okay? When is the Sean Hannity podcast? It's next month, I think, or the end of it's going to be next month, most likely. Yeah, I'll just pull up to the Fox News building and be like, yo, what's up? Have me on right now. I'm Brian Kill Me. I'm Brian Kill Myself. Anyway, yeah, leftists on Twitter. Why, yes, I do organize and do direct action. For example, my Marxist book club /Polycule meets once every other week to debate whether COVID masking is still centrist liberals on blue sky. We must do an armed insurrection. Armed rebellion now. It is the only honorable option. I got a nipple ring just because of you. Okay. That's good to know, Rose, all day. Thank you for telling us that. Yeah, a centrist revolution is upon us. Heated clash, top down pressed on controversial podcast appearance. I guess, wait, is this the fucking Ro Khanna? Oh, God. It was 8 long minutes.
Violence and rhetoric has got to stop. And that's something President Trump said right after the incident on Saturday night. When you have reporters, when you have media just being overly critical and calling the president horrible names for no reason and without evidence, without proof, it shouldn't surprise us that this type of rhetoric takes place.
And that was Todd Blancy, acting Attorney General, yesterday. Saturday shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, prompting more calls to end political violence and the rhetoric fueling it. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna is pushing for a bipartisan commission to end political violence, and he joins us now. Congressman, how would this look? How would this go forward? Are you going to analyze it? Are you going to set up a criteria or a marching orders or a to-do list?
Well, it's first an acknowledgement that political violence is out of hand, that it is affecting people in both parties, that we both parties have a responsibility to address it. There should be a national commission, and we can look at concrete things. One, the role that social media is playing in amplifying the most sensational, outrageous content that sometimes incites violence. Second, looking at mental health issues. Third, looking at how we can have intervention when you have someone sick, like the person who was tried the attempted assassination on the president and his cabinet. How do we get earlier intervention? And finally, what are the standards of how we can all do better in our political rhetoric without violating the First Amendment? We want robust speech. People should be able to criticize me, but there's a difference between criticism and the incitement of violence.
Right. I agree. I think the sentiment is widespread, although it didn't seem like it was being embraced by Hakeem Jeffries yesterday.
Get out of my city. You not from New York City, get out. Buddy, I played a role in getting your current mayor elected, okay? You can't be out here saying stuff like that. You can't be out here talking this big shit, okay? It's our city, comrade.
But Congressman, do you think it was a good move to have that spirit of what you just said and sit down with somebody like Hassan Piker?
Well, look, Hassan Piker is part of the First Amendment. I go on Sean Ryan. I've gone on Flagrant. I've gone on Hassan Piker. I go left, right. People criticize me for coming on Fox News. Not that I'm comparing you to other podcasts, but I have.
You should, because I demonstrably am not anywhere near as toxic, as repulsive, as cancerous a fixture in American politics as Fox News is. I guess when he says, I'm not comparing you guys to podcasters, he means you guys are much worse. Right? You're in the Constitution? Yeah. Well, that's an elected representative saying my name is in the Constitution now. That's how it works. That means I'm the First Amendment. I am now the First Amendment of the Constitution.
Condemned unequivocally the idea that America somehow deserved 9/11. Of course we didn't. It was a terrorist attack by al-Qaeda. I've condemned the idea that anyone would threaten the life of a sitting senator. I disagree with Senator Scott. Of course he should be safe. So one can have conversations, but condemn any incitement to violence.
You really think that? Okay, here's Hassan Piker.
Yeah, he does the clip copy, and then he responds.
But millions of people follow Hassan Piker. Why? Because he's speaking about.
And then he turns around and says, well, millions of people follow Osama bin Laden. Would you go on his podcast too? Like a fucking idiot.
Somehow and I push back by a house. They can't afford gas. They can't have health care. They're upset at the system. It's one of the reasons Trump won twice. And we have to engage while condemning the violence. But if you look at, I never engage in approving of violence, approving of the incitement of violence, and I'll condemn it.
You shouldn't allow him back on your stream if he's going to throw you under the bus. He needs you. You don't need him. Ro really isn't defending you, though, no? Yeah, his defense of me is, again, very like... his quote-unquote defense of me is more so a defense of, like, appearing alongside me. Right? It's fine. I do think it's a little silly. Like... My expectation isn't for elected representatives to know exactly the context of all these out-of-context clips that they're fucking using. But it is to say, look, man, like, I don't agree with everything that this guy says, but at the end of the day, he has a right to say it. And the reality of the matter is, you guys know that too. You guys embody that spirit, right? You hate cancel culture. And here you are using clips out of context against the dude who speaks for 8 hours a day on hot button issues. You yourself, Brian Kilmeade, have openly stated, unprompted, that you wanted to murder homeless people. And here I am on your broadcast. I'm appearing on Fox News. right? Enough with this nonsense. The cancel culture is universally opposed for good reason. You can't, on the one hand, say you hate cancel culture, and then on the other hand, utilize the exact same techniques that you opposed that allowed Trump to win the election. It's so cynical. There's a major double standard here. And you guys are leaning into it. They would never invite him back. Yes, they would. That clip would do no. That clip would. The first.
You know you can't be lazy. Never use a messy recipe. The cake will end up crazy. If you do the cooking by the book, then you'll have a.
Bring it down, bitch. Let me see you back it up. Shut that ass down, load it, pick that motherfucker up. Bring it down, bitch.
Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you so much, Red Cyber Dragon. I hope your stream was good. What were you up to? We're just chilling. We're just doing a has watch. We're keeping it super chill. Welcome in, folks. I'm Lesbian Hot Sauce, variety leftist streamer, sometimes a dog, sometimes a lesbian with a mullet. This dog, though, does not have a mullet. I will be back streaming actual political analysis and news stuff and chats on Thursday. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. And thank you so much for the raid, love. If you need to raid and run, don't worry. Please go look after yourself.
Explain that analysis does not equal endorsement. You know, pretty basic stuff overall. That if you chop up someone's statements down to 2 seconds, you can make them appear as though they're in support of anything on the fucking planet. Here, let me do that to you right now, okay? Imagine, out of context, okay? You just said, if I just chopped it up to America deserved 9/11, boom, all of a sudden, you have now said America deserved 9/11. Is that, do you understand? Why did you say America deserved 9/11? Pixel. Why are you in support of 9/11? Why do you want to do 9/11 again? Here you are saying Habibi as well. Very Arab. How Arab of you. Do you understand? It's really fucked up, chatter, that you said America deserved 9/11. Here, take a day off. Stupid. Alert the authorities.
When I hear it.
Congressman, I just can't believe that you choose to go on. I mean, Cory Booker and others have not. But I want to ask you about DHS funding because it's really important. While we try to get the rhetoric down and people safe, DHS is not funded. Border Patrol is not funded.
Yeah. Now that we got through the most important story, let's talk about DHS funding. Yeah, now they love Cory Booker because Cory Booker said he wouldn't go on the stream. All right, what's next?
Despite the videos and the accounts of what happened Saturday night.
I love these guys complaining about conspiracy theories, by the way. It's so funny to me when they're like, wow, can you believe it? Liberals are coming up with conspiracy theories about a shooting that took place. And I mean, it wasn't like no one died.
Conspiracy theories are now running.
This one's not on YouTube. Dem strategists went on Fox News to slam Democrats for associating with me. Oh my God, another one of these like cucks.
Streamer Hassan Piker. And Hassan Piker says he loves stealing. Watch.
I think it's cool. We gotta get back to cool crimes like that, like bank robberies, right? Stealing priceless artifacts, things of that nature. I feel like that's way cooler than the 7,000th new cryptocurrency scheme that people are engaging in.
I sometimes wonder if they're doing this as an exercise to see how dumb their audience is. Like to see if there's any pushback on something that is so clearly said in jest, like so clearly a fucking joke. I wonder if they're doing it on purpose to be like, no, you guys are hogs. You're at the trough and we're feeding you garbage.
I'm pro stealing from big corporations because, you know, they steal quite a bit more from their own workers.
So, is it the right move for Democrats like these to associate with this podcaster? Michael LaRosa is a Democratic strategist and the former press secretary to Jill Biden. And we love having him on the show, and he joins us now in studio. Thanks for coming all the way over.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about, for those who don't know who Hassan Piker is, maybe it might be good for us just to show this clip really quick.
It's funny because, like, at a time when the average radical centrist Democrat is literally trying to kill the president, okay? That's how angry and frustrated the average Democrat voter is, like lifelong Democrat voter is. That's how much they oppose the current administration, okay? These guys are like, oh, well, as a Democratic Party consultant, I think we can find bipartisan consensus here. Like, what are we doing? Do we have to suspend our disbelief for a moment and assume that Fox News cares about the future of the Democratic Party? Talk about a guy who doesn't read the fucking room. Any Democratic consultant that goes on Fox News to defend whatever Fox News is cooking up is not a real Democratic consultant. They're a consultant for the oligarchs who are bipartisan, who don't care about whichever party gains their loyalty because their goals are the same at the end of the day.
This is his reaction to the execution, really, in the streets of CEO Brian Thompson. Watch.
Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder. Virtually every American has a similar experience, a shared experience where they have a loved one that spent their last days, instead of spending them with their family, spending it on the phone, talking to their healthcare provider, to maybe get a little bit of economic respite. That is the reason why I think the reaction to Luigi Mangione, especially by younger generations, was not so negative.
All right, Michael, he's a Luigi Mangione fan. What do you make of this?
Well,
Is this what you guys want for the party?
No, well, it's not what I want. That's disgusting talk. And, you know, I have to be honest with you. You could waterboard me all day, and I couldn't tell you anything about this guy. I had to Google him a couple weeks ago. But the fact that people are paying attention to him, I think we embrace him at our own peril. The vast majority of Democratic primary voters, they're just normal, common sense people. I mean, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren,
Yeah, normal, common sense people. You know who else made that same take about the devastation born out of paywalling healthcare, for-profit healthcare insurance companies? Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren is not exactly a fan of mine, okay? As a matter of fact, I don't think she likes me at all. Okay? And she also recognized that there was tremendous anger in the air due to the experiences that ordinary Americans have had with private healthcare providers. Private health insurance is viewed very negatively by the average American. You don't have to be a Democratic Party consultant to recognize that. But I guess if you are a paid shill for these corporations, you're paid to act obtuse intentionally, to act oblivious to this reality the reality that the average American actually despises private health care.
They could not make the case for themselves in a Democratic primary. So I look at the faces on the screen there, and I think, oh, well, you know, good luck. Joe Biden, it took him a couple contests, but in the end, the voters of the Democratic Party just want normal, common sense representation. And I think that's why they went with Biden. That's why we traditionally do go with a more mainstream candidate. I won't say moderate, but I'll say mainstream.
What is this graphic, bro? Oh my God. Oh my God. What the hell is happening, bro?
Mainstream candidate. And I believe that Democrats will do the same.
So maybe the voters are there, but this man Hassan Piker, has been embraced by the New York Times, by sort of like the elites in the party in some way. And I think, tell me if I'm wrong, they're doing this because they understood the impact of the manosphere, the male podcast world really helped President.
By the way, it is really funny because this is exactly what liberal media did for years and years to the manosphere. Constantly complaining about them, demanding that Democrats don't actually touch the manosphere with a 10-foot pole, and constantly chirping about it. Now, of course, there's plenty of things that members of the manosphere have said that are unbelievably repulsive in comparison to like clips that they take of me out of context to be like, oh, see, Hassan is explaining. Hassan is doing systemic analysis. Clearly, that means it's an endorsement of mass theft and bloody murder in the streets. Like all this stuff is exactly what liberals did for the longest fucking time. And then they learned, I think, from that lesson that they can't just like avoid these independent circles, right? They can't avoid these independent media outlets because that's where the eyeballs are.
President Trump, and they think maybe
But I don't have an issue with this graphic because this is, I mean, these are some of the best. These are some of the best politicians in the country right now, with the exception of these last two, right? Who said they'd be willing to appear on my live stream. Again, no invites have been sent out except for Gavin Newsom. But like here, let's cut this part out. But yeah, like look at this. Does Hassan follow the Dre dossier at substack.com? No. Also, it's fucked up that Ilhan Omar is not on this list. This list is also international. Leader of the LFI, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, is a member of this list. Zach Polanski, the head of the Green Party, is a member on this list as well. I say this is a pretty fucking solid list. Yanis Varoufakis, Keith Ellison. There's more. But yeah, some of these are unbelievably popular figures, like Bernie Sanders, Zohran Mamdani. These are unfathomably popular figures. Avi Lewis, we'll have Avi Lewis on as well eventually. Talked to him before he became the head of NDP. I was trying to link up with him and his wife when I was in their neighborhood. It didn't end up happening. I think this is a disciplining operation in some respects, or at least the Democrats are treating it as a disciplining operation. They can't yell at every single fucking voter, so they have to like yell at a person that they have figured out is a easier target than like basically yelling at their voters for having similar opinions, right? They're trying to scold the base of support. But I think the reason why the Republicans are doing this is because they're also worried. They're worried about left populism growing in the country.
They're Rogan, and so they embrace him instead of do what you're doing, which is criticize him.
Yeah, and I think that that would be a mistake to interpret the election as if the podcast was the only thing that made Trump appealing to
I didn't say that, for the record. I said the exact opposite.
Voters, or that made Kamala Harris less appealing. It's not that podcasts were the secret sauce. It was that Trump made himself available and accessible to everyone. He held press conferences. You talked about it earlier in your show.
Yeah.
His accessibility, it took 2 months before Kamala Harris could even do a press interview.
Right.
And that's what killed her. It was the appearance and the perception that she was hiding something. And so the New York Times, by platforming people like that, I'm a little shocked because I read the New York Times. I'm one of those Democrats who still admires the Times and reads it and respects it. But I don't understand the platforming or why somebody like that is worth the platform of the New York Times.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens here, but it is an interesting development. We'll see if the common sense Democrat.
I mean, yeah, you're on fucking Fox News agreeing with Fox News. If you are a Democratic Party consultant in any way, shape, or form, you should not find yourself on Fox News agreeing with Fox News at all. Yeah, by the way, this is now the third or fourth poll showing Abdul making demonstrable gains in the wake of the Epic Hassan freakout. He still has a long way to go, but it was clearly a blunder on the part of the establishment and one that could gain permanently Abdul massive attentional strength. U.S. Senate Michigan Democratic primary polling average from race to the White House, 4/28/2026. Abdul El-Sayed at 23.3. Mallory McMorrow at 21.3. Abdul El-Sayed taking the lead here on this poll. Okay. Abdul El-Sayed also just secured the endorsement of the National Nurses United, 225,000 members. He's the only Michigan Senate Dem backing Medicare for all. Elites have done the Streisand effect so many times that it beggars the imagination that they still believe the strat works. I think it would have worked. Here's how it would have worked, okay? I'll be very honest with you. If after this like wave of negative fake controversy, I, hid away and the only information you could find on me wasn't my past library of commentary, but instead what people have said about me, right? But that's not how that works because I'm a media figure myself. Then it would have worked. If I was a, student protester that they were disparaging this aggressively, then yes, it would have worked because student protesters on college campuses don't have major media platforms. They can't defend themselves. That's number one. Number two, you a scary chicken and you know it. I'm a scary chicken? I'm a chicken with scars? Sure. Okay. Number two, it also would have been effective if Abdul El-Sayed or numerous other figures that I've appeared with backed away and were like, I'm so sorry that we did this. That would have been somewhat annoying for me to deal with, but it also would have made them look bad. Not because I have like a large audience of like sycophants who would have punished these candidates or anything like that, right? But the reason why that would have looked bad is because then they would have admitted guilt for no fucking reason. Okay? It would have made them look weak. It would have made them admit guilt for no real reason. And it would have become a real controversy. But it's not a real controversy. It's one that just invites more attention to the candidates now, who can just stand on their principles and say, look, I have a principled stance on, I'm not inconsistent on this, that I'll go to anyone and talk to anyone, right? Two, these are some of the issues that I care about. He aligns with me on those issues. I agree with him on, some of the things. I disagree with him on others. Who cares? It shows that you are open-minded. Okay? And last but not least, They're not backing down from cynical lines of attack. It's good. Them not distancing themselves also gives the freedom to other progressive Dems to say, nah, fuck that. I'm not stepping away. Exactly. I sent my parents who were Cuban American Republicans who watch Fox News, your Cuba mini doc, and they were both blown away. They didn't believe you were the same guy Fox was talking about. Yeah. There's another Senate poll that came out showing Stevens in the lead, which is crazy, unbelievable. But El Sayed at 23 to Stevens at 25, McMorrow at 16. Okay? This is really good. Within striking distance, within a margin of error. I don't believe any of the polls that show Stevens in the lead, I'll be honest with you. I feel like those are base boosted. I don't know how the fuck they're polling. Because there's no way in, like, I will tell you right now, I do not think Stevens has a shot. I don't think Stevens has a shot at winning the primary, and I don't think she has a shot at winning the general. Okay? If by some insane stroke of misfortune, Haley Stevens wins the primary, I would obviously be devastated because Abdul is fantastic, and it would be a massive miss for American democracy. But it would also mean that I just genuinely don't understand the electorate at all. Like, I would have, because I understand certain things, right? If you have more money, which Stevens certainly does, and you get the machine, the Democratic Party machine on your side, which Stevens also has, then yeah, you get plenty of advantages in a race. But Haley Stevens is such a black hole of charisma. So unbelievably bad as a politician that even all of those structural aids is not going to make up for that clear distinction between her and even McMorrow. I'm not even talking about Abdul in this situation. Abdul is a league, many leagues above Haley Stevens as far as like a charismatic orator. But I genuinely don't understand why anyone would vote for her. I don't get it. I don't understand it. In any case, let's get to Fox News now complaining about liberals engaging in conspiracy theories. Fox News, once again, Fox News is famous for trafficking in conspiracies in the aftermath of every single mass shooting, every single violent incident. Fox News is right there, ready to lie about what actually took place. And now they're complaining that the liberals are doing the same. Let's take a look.
Rampant on social media. Some accounts are even questioning whether the entire thing was staged, much like they did the assassination attempt in Butler. The Washington Post says this, quote, about a fifth of the left-wing and liberal influencers and politicians who posted about the shooting used conspiratorial language, according to a Post analysis of social media posts and podcasts.
Oh, just nonsense. Hugh Hewitt is tearing into the media's coverage on this, writing on Fox Digital, Trump saw what the Truth Legacy media missed. Sick minds are fueling violence. He joins us in moments with more.
First, now we go to Justice correspondent David Spunt. He's got an update on the suspect live right here in the D.C. newsroom. Hi, David.
Hi, Jillian and John. Well, the suspect is sitting behind bars right now waiting for a detention hearing. That's going to happen on Thursday. If convicted after trial, Cole Allen could spend the rest of his life in prison. More charges are also expected in this case as new evidence comes to light.
Make no mistake, this was an attempted assassination.
The 31-year-old from Southern California, who authorities say stormed through a security checkpoint at that dinner on Saturday, also facing charges of transportation of a firearm in interstate commerce and discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence. Authorities say that Allen, transporting weapons he purchased in California, took a train from California to Washington, D.C. last week. Fox is told he checked into the Washington Hilton Hotel just one day before the dinner, was armed with a 12-gauge pump action shotgun, a 38 semi-automatic.
Oh, I didn't realize transporting firearms was illegal. I didn't realize I was living in communist China. Oh, I'm sorry. It's illegal to transport my God-given firearms and my God-given rights that I'm exercising in God's favored country, the United States of America. I didn't realize this was communist China, brother. Did you cover UAE leaving OPEC? No, dude, not yet. Okay, not yet. I will get to it. God damn.
3 knives when he made his move.
I love these chatters, though. Like the chatters who are like, I am aching for geopolitical analysis. Dude, I need to know what the fuck is going on in the Hormuzzi, okay? We are situation monitoring enjoyers.
We are investigating this matter fully. We will apply the law fairly, and we will ensure that accountability is swift and certain.
According to the criminal complaint released less than 24 hours ago at 8:40 Saturday evening, Allen, knowing the president and first lady were already seated in the ballroom, approached security, ran through the magnetometer as seen on the surveillance footage right there. The complaint alleges that Secret Service heard a loud gunshot. One officer was shot in the chest but was wearing a bulletproof vest and survived.
Let this be a message to anyone who thinks that Washington, D.C. is the place to act out political violence. And if you are willing to do so with a firearm and cross state lines, we will find you.
Cole Allen is back in federal court on Thursday, where the government will argue why he should remain held in jail until trial. At this point, he does not have private counsel. He's represented by 2 federal public defenders. Jillian, John.
David, are you hearing anything from your sources? We have not officially about the investigation into who exactly shot the Secret Service agent who was wounded?
It's a good question. I'm glad you brought it up. It's unclear right now. It's something we've asked DOJ officials. The deputy, or I don't want to say the former deputy attorney general, now the acting attorney general, Todd Blanche, asked yesterday. The way that it's written in the criminal complaint is very careful to say that the Secret Service heard gunshots and then a Secret Service agent was hit in the chest. Luckily, that agent survived. That agent had a bulletproof vest on, the initials VG of that agent, but it's still not clear. And we asked as journalists point blank who shot the Secret Service agent. Right now, they say that's still under ballistic testing going on at Quantico, Virginia.
All right. Well, David, keep us posted. We will check back with you as needed this afternoon. Thanks very much for kicking us off, John.
All right, let's bring in Hugh Hewitt, Fox News contributor and host of the Hugh Hewitt Show, to delve into this more. So 3 attempts against President Trump's life in the past 2 years. That is not a coincidence by any means. What do you think is driving it?
The internet is driving it. President Trump's interview on Sunday night, he referred to the shooter as unbalanced, as troubled, as sick. He's right about that. But then we have to step back and ask, what is fueling this generally, whether it is Butler, whether it's the guy in the tree in the Florida golf course, the killer of Charlie Kirk. And then if you go way back, John, 10 years, and I'm sure you'll remember it, not sure Jillian will, 10 years ago, an unbalanced man with a gun stormed the Comet Ping Pong Pizza, 3 miles away from the Washington Hilton. He was going to avenge Pizzagate. And it turns out he'd been living on the internet and he'd swallowed it hook, line, and sinker, and he thought there were children.
Yeah, who could? Yeah. Which movement fueled these sorts of conspiracy theories? We're all trying to find out the guy who did this, you know? Wow. Which president has actually sincerely leaned into QAnon, like made direct references to that same movement that this guy is now shitting on? Oh, that's right. That was Donald Trump. Donald Trump, on numerous occasions, has actually offered straight up direct dog whistles to the QAnon movement. What's next, dude? You're going to be like, yeah, unbelievably violent sentiment coming from Republicans probably caused the Minneapolis shooter to go and kill Democratic legislators. Like, who's doing it, I wonder? Who's fucking doing that? Which movement has been doing that? Yeah, I refuse to be lectured about conspiracy theories by a guy that thinks the 2020 election was stolen. God damn it, Twitter. I don't fucking want to download it as an app. What is this bullshit? Every time I click on a new Twitter link, it's going to try to force me to download this fucking app? Is that what's going on? I refuse to be lectured about conspiracy theories by a guy that thinks the 2020 election was stolen and whose employer had to pay an $800 million legal settlement for pushing conspiracy theories. Arrest warrant issued for former FBI Director James Comey. Nice. But yeah, Guy Benson, Fox News political analyst, complaining about conspiracies. Nearly half of American leftists believe the Butler assassination attempt, which killed someone, was a false flag inside job. Insane conspiracy nuttery. One of those leftists, it turns out, is the guy who tried to finish the job at the White House Correspondents' Dinner per CNN reporting. It's for the 8647 post, by the way. I'm not lying. Yeah, unbelievable. Ken Clip also showed in a new article he hated the Dems too.
I'm sort of a gay hero.
All right, we'll I'll look at this. This is kind of like Ben Shapiro thinking he could do unlimited racism and it wouldn't backfire. Yeah, no, it is exactly that. It's leopards eating their own fucking faces. And guess what? They don't like it. They don't like it one bit. Megyn Kelly, the left, and Hassan Piker don't just justify political violence. They celebrate it. Oh my God. Fucking motionless. I don't care about this. This is the dangerous radical terrorist tearing the nation apart. Got some creatine. Slammed a... okay, dude. Yes, I'm jorking it. I'm jorking my peanuts. Did you talk about the shooter brother warning the police he was coming? Yeah, I covered it the day of. Or the next day. Hold on. Where the fuck was I? Oh, yeah. Let's continue with this.
In the Comet Ping Pong Pizza, he was sentenced to 4 years in jail by now Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. But it was because of the waters in which he swam. And very quickly, those waters, 4chan, QAnon, became off limits to anyone who was serious. You couldn't quote him. You couldn't be on him. You couldn't think about him. Yep.
What are you saying? The president, literally, the president of the United States of America, the current president of the United States of America, straight up was leaning into the QAnon conspiracies. He appointed a QAnon conspiracy theorist to be the director of the FBI. He appointed another QAnon conspiracist who also happens to be a Fox News anchor as well, Dan fucking Bongino, as the deputy director of the FBI. What are you talking about? The idea that the Republicans shied away in any way, shape, or form from the QAnon conspiracy is laughable. Not only is it laughable, but it goes far beyond the QAnon conspiracy theories. Donald Trump and Fox News is responsible for the conspiracy that the 2020 election was stolen. Donald Trump was so responsible for that he actually tuned up his entire fan base, HVAC business owners from all around the country, into flying to Washington, D.C. to try to do an insurrection. Okay? He didn't just form the conspiracy and give it shape, but he also fomented the anger and then tried to use that anger to do an insurrection. Now, it doesn't end there, okay? Fox News knew that this was a lie, as we now know, because they were, texting one another about how much they were fucking lying about this this conspiracy theory. But Fox News, why do we know about this? Because Fox News got sued by Dominion to the tune of $800 million. Fox News was sued by Dominion successfully and was awarded, or not Fox News was awarded, but Dominion was awarded $800 million. Okay? For openly and knowingly lying about the election being stolen. So what are you saying when you're talking about, oh, well, the conspiracies are running amok nowadays, it's crazy? No, you're just pissed that liberals are doing it. And it's not liberal mainstream outlets doing it in the same way that Fox News does it with regular frequency and still does it to this day. In the aftermath of every single shooting, Fox News, alongside the entire independent right-wing commentary circuit, will lie and say, oh, this is another transgender Antifa shooter. They openly trade in conspiracies every single time there's a breaking news event. Every single time. Okay? This is even more unbelievable than them complaining about violent political language. Okay? It's even less believable. You have no leg to stand on, man. What are you fucking saying? This should be read as them upset that they can't entertain conspiracy theories to the same success as they once enjoyed. Partially because now liberals have lost their dang minds too, and they're so frustrated, they're so rudderless, they're so angry that they're like, yeah, it must be a conspiracy. It must be for the ballroom. Part of the reason why they also feel that it must be for the ballroom, and I do kind of understand where liberals are coming from with this, is because the entirety of the right-wing media ecosystem, alongside John Fetterman, who's also a part of the right-wing media ecosystem, let's be real, came out in unison and said, this is why we need a ballroom. What the fuck is the expectation when you see every single conservative media figure alongside conservative legislators coming out and saying, this is why we need to fucking build a ballroom? Of course people are going to be like, that's weird. That's a strange thing. What? That's not my first opinion that's not my first reaction when I see yet another assassination attempt on the president. I don't just go, oh, it's time for the ballroom. Like, that's a very weird response. It's a very weird and very clearly coordinated response. So, of course, people are going to look at that and go, that's odd. Well, I guess, here he goes again, faking another assassination attempt.
You're good. I'd never heard of them anyway, but we were learning that. Now, will that happen to the waters in which this would-be statement killer swam? Specifically, no Kings rally, crazy left-wing rhetoric from Hassan Piker. Will they be as shunned as the Comet Pizza shooters environment was shunned 10 years ago? We have to wait and see.
Yeah, except you're basically giving the game away, even though there's no equivalence here between someone like myself and like fucking Alex Jones. You're unironically showing that it's successful if Democrats do lean into this shit. Okay? Like, Steve Bannon is Mr. QAnon. Steve Bannon is Mr. QAnon. Steve Bannon is still someone who is welcome in the White House. Steve Bannon also was an ally to Jeffrey Epstein. What are you saying? This is, you know what this reminds me of in some ways? It reminds me of America being like, whoa, 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 you're not supposed to attack our military bases in the Gulf states. What are you doing? Like when America or Israel finally meets a country that's like willing to fight back, they're like, what? That's illegal. What the fuck? What do you mean you're blowing up our radar systems? Wait, don't you know that's not in the rules? Excuse me. Only we get to blow up whatever the fuck we want to blow up. I treat a lot of these mentions by Fox News and also many prominent, right-wing Democrats as people playing a role in operating as apex stooges in American mainstream media. Okay, the reason why I'm getting attacked this much is because of AIPAC. It's because of Israel. let's be real. As a prominent critic of Israel, a lot of Democrats are very frustrated that their base has moved on from the issue of Israel. They no longer have control over it. And it's the same with the Republicans, too. That's what they're worried about. They're worried about prominent Democrats leaning into someone like myself to gain credibility on the issue of Israel. That is what they're afraid of, because everyone fucking knows behind closed doors that Israel is despised by large majorities of the American population. That's it.
These protesters just appear to kind of lose their minds in public. I saw a video of a woman on Saturday night. She tried to get close to the president's motorcade. The police pushed her back behind the barricades. Then she started screaming F you in the face of any police officer there. And they eventually said, you know what, lady, we've had enough of this. They arrested her and took her away. I mean, there's a long history of this. Predates the internet by decades, hundreds of years. Oh, yeah. Long histories of assassinations and attempts in this country. Abraham.
It's so funny that they have to be like the rational, the rational party here. Oh, it's awesome. They're on the back foot, man. They're having to engage in a defensive posture. What is this? Fresh Hells? Never seen before. If Google chooses to ethically drop out, Google drops out of Pentagon contest to develop voice-controlled autonomous drone swarms after internal ethics review. Oh my God, what the fuck are they doing?
Lincoln, James Garfield, William McKinley, John F. Kennedy, they were all assassinated. Attempts on Andrew Jackson.